So you're thinking about getting a cat. Maybe you've been dreaming about it for ages. It's a really wonderful thing to decide.
It really is a fantastic decision.
But then you hit that classic crossroads, don't you? The one that gets everyone thinking. Do you go for that tiny, unbelievably cute kitten? Or maybe an older cat, one that's a bit calmer, maybe wiser?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's like the classic cat adoption dilemma.
Sure.
Both options can be amazing, absolutely rewarding, but they come with, well, very different day-to-day realities.
Exactly. And that's why we're doing this deep dive today.
We want to unpack the pros and cons, really look at adopting a kitten versus an adult cat.
Yep. We've got a great article as our base, a kitten or an older cat, which should you adopt? And we've also pulled in some, real thoughts from actual cat owners who've been there.
Comments and experiences.
Our whole goal here is just to give you, the listener, the information you need to help you figure out the best fit for your life, your situation, looking past just the initial cuteness to the practical stuff.
Right. So, okay, let's maybe define our terms first, just so we're all on the same page.
Good idea. What's a kitten in this context?
So, for this discussion, we're mostly talking about birth up to about 6 months old. That's that really intense, whirlwind phase.
Gotcha.
Now, they might still act like, well, overgrown kittens, maybe until they're a year old, lots of energy still.
Sure.
But we'll define adult cats as, say, 2 years and older. That's typically when they've settled down.
Yeah.
And you can really see their true personality shining through.
Okay, that makes sense. So with that clear, let's dive into the kitten side first. The adorable whirlwind.
Right.
And I mean, the number one pro is just obvious, isn't it? They are so cute, it feels almost hardwired.
It really does. That
Yeah.
innocent kittenishness, as the article puts it.
Yeah.
It's almost irresistible.
Totally. But beyond just looking cute, what are the other advantages? Especially maybe for someone who's never had a cat before.
Well, it's interesting. That cuteness factor ties into practical things. Their size, for instance. They're small. So if you're a bit nervous, maybe a first-time owner, they're just easier to handle. Picking them up, popping them in a carrier, it feels less daunting. Smaller claws, smaller teeth, too.
That's a good point. Less intimidating.
Definitely. And then there's the bonding.
Ah, yes, the article mentioned this. Faster, deeper bonding.
It often is, yeah. Young kittens are actively looking for that mother figure. They want to attach to their new human.
So you become their whole world, basically.
Pretty much. There's that emotional need, and you see it physically, too, with the needing, making biscuits.
Yeah.
It's a real sign of comfort and connection.
Yeah. Love the biscuit making. And the entertainment.
Oh, endless entertainment. Kittens will play with absolutely anything. A dust bunny, a shadow, your shoelaces.
Yes.
They explore everything, every nook, every cranny. If you get two, oh boy, hours of fun just watching them tumble around.
Okay, that all sounds pretty perfect, almost like a dream scenario.
It can be idyllic, yes.
But there's always a but, isn't there? That initial fuzzy feeling sometimes meets, well, reality. Because that whirlwind, it's got some serious power behind it.
It really does. Turbocharged energy is a good way to put it. Once they hit a few months old, things can get intense.
Intense how? Like little demons? Intense. I think the article used that phrase.
Yeah, it did. Not actually evil, of course, but wow, the energy. They jump, they climb, they bat things off tables, they pull things down. Everything's a toy or a challenge.
So constant vigilance required.
Pretty much. Their appetite for games is just bottomless.
Yeah.
And honestly, it can take a year, maybe even longer for them to really mellow out. So you absolutely need to kitten-proof your place thoroughly. And stock up on patience.
And the playing, those little claws and teeth again. Play fighting is normal, right? But
if there's no sibling to practice on, guess who becomes the practice target?
your hands, your ankles. Yep.
Exactly. Scratches are, well, kind of a rite of passage for kitten owners.
Yeah.
You teach boundaries, of course, but it happens. And it's not great if you have, say, very delicate skin or maybe health reasons where scratches could be a problem.
Okay, that's fair. And here's something I think people might overlook in the haze of cuteness. You don't actually know what kind of cat they'll grow into.
That's a huge point.
Yeah.
Character uncertainty. It's a real gamble.
So that adorable, cuddly fluff ball might become...
Might become a bit grumpy or aloof or maybe super shy and timid. You just don't know for sure. The article mentions even really experienced owners get it wrong sometimes.
So you could end up with a cat whose personality doesn't quite mesh with yours or your lifestyle.
It happens. It's a risk you take with a kitten.
And then... the vet visits. Let's talk about that.
Right. So initially you've got the basics. Vaccinations, spaying or neutering if a shelter or breeder hasn't done it already.
Standard stuff.
But beyond that, kittens are just, well, they're more prone to getting sick. Their immune systems are still developing. Their digestive systems are sensitive.
Meaning?
Meaning things like vomiting, diarrhea, discovering food allergies. It's all more common. Or sometimes, sadly, discovering genetic issues.
Yeah.
So, yeah, potentially more vet trips, more costs, and honestly, more worry for you.
And they're delicate little things too, aren't they? Physically.
Very fragile, relatively speaking. Bones break more easily, which is why they might not be the best choice for households with very young children who might, accidentally handle them too roughly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It really comes back to that energy level, though. That extremely energetic nature is probably the single biggest difference. It can be overwhelming.
Especially for first-time owners, maybe?
Definitely. It can be a lot to handle when you're just learning about cat care in general.
Okay. So if the thought of a tiny, fluffy agent of chaos is maybe a little daunting, and believe me, I get it, I think I still have faint scratch marks somewhere. Let's talk about the alternative, the calm companion, the adult cat.
Yes, and the biggest advantage here, the article nails it. The cat is out of the bag, meaning you know what you're getting. The personality is formed. Shy, friendly, lap cat, independent spirit. It's already there.
No guesswork involved.
Much less, anyway. And this is where adopting from a good shelter or a foster home is brilliant. The staff, the foster parents, they've spent time with the cat. They can tell you about its temperament, its quirks.
That predictability must be a huge relief for a lot of people.
It really is.
Yep.
And related to that is their general demeanor. It's usually much more relaxed.
Calmer, less bouncing off the walls.
Generally, yes. As cats mature, they tend to settle down. Many become quite sedentary, actually. You still need to play with them, give them stimulation, of course.
But maybe fewer curtain climbing incidents.
Exactly. Less likely to try to climb your curtains and get into trouble, as the source says. Less intensive kitten proofing needed, fewer surprise acrobatics.
And health-wise, how do adults compare to kittens?
Generally more robust, especially those young adults, say between 1 and 8 years old. They're often in their prime.
So, past those tricky kitten illnesses.
Usually, yes. They're typically stronger, their immune systems are mature, and often they're already spayed or neutered and fully vaccinated when you adopt them.
Which means fewer vet bills initially.
Often, yes. Annual checkups might be all you need for quite a while. That peace of mind about health, avoiding those unexpected kitten emergencies, that's a big draw for many owners.
Definitely. And there's another big factor, kind of an emotional one.
Yes. Saving a life.
It feels really significant, doesn't it? Especially thinking about shelters that aren't no-kill. Older cats, they often get overlooked.
Tragically, yes. Everyone flocks to the kittens.
Yeah.
So choosing an adult cat, especially one that's been waiting a while, it can genuinely be a life-saving act.
Yeah.
You're giving a deserving animal a real second chance.
That's powerful. But, okay, it can't be all smooth sailing with adult cats either, right? What are the potential challenges?
True, there are nuances. Some adult cats in shelters, sadly, might come with baggage. A history of abuse, perhaps, or neglect.
So they might need more patience, more understanding.
Absolutely. Overcoming that past trauma takes enough love and dedication, as the article says. Building trust can be a long process, but
incredibly rewarding if you can help them blossom.
exactly. Seeing a cat like that learn to feel safe and loved in your home, it's a pretty profound experience.
What about just habits? Are they kind of set in their ways?
They certainly can be. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, they might have strong preferences for a specific type of litter, maybe, or a certain brand of food.
The creatures of habit?
Very much so. Making changes, it usually requires time and patience.
Yeah.
And it needs to be gradual. You can't just swap everything overnight.
And how do they adapt to other pets? Is that harder than with kittens?
Generally, yes. Older cats often take longer to adjust to new animal companions. So the article makes a good point. If you already have, say, a pet bird or maybe hamsters or something small.
A kitten might actually be easier to introduce because they're more adaptable.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
A kitten might be seen as less of a threat and might adjust more readily. It's definitely something to consider carefully.
Okay. And what about the real golden oldies? Senior cats, say, over 8.
The seniors. They can be wonderful companions, often very sedentary, relaxed, and just as loving as younger cats. Many stay healthy and happy well into their teens.
Like furry little philosophers.
Yeah, kind of. Just wanting a warm lap, a quiet spot in the sun. Now, you do need to be prepared for potentially more vet visits down the line. Age-related health issues can crop up.
Arthritis, kidney issues, things like that.
Things like that, yes, as part of caring for an older animal. But the reward, giving a senior cat a peaceful, loving home for their final years, it's
They
immense.
really deserve it. The article strongly makes that point, that they make wonderful pets and deserve a good home.
Absolutely. It's a truly compassionate choice.
So, after all this, kittens, adults, seniors, how does someone actually choose? It feels like there's no single right answer.
There really isn't. No one size fits all, definitely. It boils down to you, your lifestyle, your energy levels, your home situation.
Some people might love the chaos of a kitten.
Absolutely. Some people thrive on that challenge of caring for a young, hyperactive kitten. They embrace the energy, the training, the whole unpredictable journey.
While others might prefer predictable.
Exactly. Someone else might much prefer a more relaxed and set in their ways adult companion. Someone whose personality is known, whose energy level fits better with a quieter household.
And you absolutely have to think about any pets you already have.
Crucial point. How will your current dog or your existing cat react? Would an energetic kitten drive them crazy? Or would they actually welcome a playmate?
Versus maybe preferring a calmer adult who keeps more to themselves.
Right. Introductions always need care, but the type of cat you bring in matters a lot for how smoothly things might go with your existing furry family.
This is where hearing from other cat owners is so valuable, like those comments from the article. They add so much real-world texture.
They really do.
Yep.
Like that comment from Stefan Z, challenging the old idea that cats only bond when they're young.
Oh yeah, what was that again?
They said, domestic cats will attach to you at any time, basically, if you're kind, and that rescued animals often show this extra gratefulness. It kind of flips the script on the whole kitten bonding advantage.
That's a really powerful thought. Attachment isn't just a kitten thing.
Apparently not, for many people. Then there was Mother Dragon talking about physical stability.
Right, worried about tripping over a kitten.
Yeah, saying a rambunctious kitten might be my undoing. So, preferring an older cat who's less likely to be underfoot unexpectedly. It's a very practical, personal reason that might not occur to everyone.
Totally valid. And the allergy question from Edward B. Markey.
Fascinating, wasn't it? Their allergies faded with one specific cat, making them wonder if they could have been used to him, and now facing the dilemma of adopting again. It shows how individual these things can be, even biologically.
Yeah, maybe adaptability goes both ways sometimes.
And Anne's comment really brought it back home for first-timers.
What was it that? Oh, about making the right match.
Yes. That while experienced owners might handle anything, for people who have never had a cat before, it's important to make the right match. To avoid getting totally overwhelmed, whether by kitten chaos or unexpected adult habits, preparation is key.
So true. Know thyself. Know thy potential cat.
Precisely. And finally, Terrace Girls 06 had that lovely philosophy.
Letting the cat find them.
Yeah, and saying rescued is their favorite breed. Just emphasizing that each cat is an individual, regardless of age or background, waiting for the right connection.
Love that. Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, what's the takeaway?
Well, fundamentally, you're trading things off. With kittens, you get that undeniable charm, often faster bonding, but also high energy, uncertainty, and more initial care needs.
And with adults?
You get a known personality, generally calmer energy, better health robustness usually, plus that feeling of potentially saving a life. But you might deal with past baggage or habits. And seniors offer quiet companionship, but require readiness for age-related care.
So the choice really hinges on your life, your home, your expectations.
Exactly. It's deeply personal.
Okay, here's a final thought to leave everyone with, building on that comment about bonding. Given that cats can bond deeply at any age, if we believe those experienced owners, maybe the question isn't just about the cat's age. Maybe it's about us. How might adjusting our own expectations, expecting immediate affection versus being willing to patiently build trust over time? How might that change our approach to adoption entirely, no matter the cat's age or history?
That's a really interesting angle. Shifting focus from the cat's timeline to our own willingness to invest time, regardless of whether it's a kitten or a senior. Food for thought.